Some stories don't fade.
Through static field radios, across empty oceans, and inside the places where the world refuses to give answers.
On December 5, 1945, 5 U.S. Navy bombers lifted into the sky over Florida.
Experienced pilots.
Routine mission.
Clear weather.
Nothing unusual. But within hours, every one of them would vanish. Not crash, not sink, not scatter debris across the water. They would simply disappear. And the last thing anyone heard was their voices dissolving into fear. I'm your host.
And this is HushAtlas, where history whispers
And the unknown answers back. Flight 19 began like any other training mission.
5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers, flown by skilled men who knew the sky better than most knew their own shadows.
Their leader, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, had logged more than 2,500 hours in the air. The others were disciplined, well-trained, and steady. Their assignment was simple. Fly east over the Atlantic, practice bombing runs, turn north, then west back to base. A triangle.
Straightforward.
Predictable. But the triangle they flew into wasn't drawn on any map.
2 hours into the mission, something broke the rhythm. Fort Lauderdale Tower received a transmission strained, uneasy, and entirely out of character.
This is FT-28. Something is wrong. I think we're of course, the tower replied immediately. What is your position? Silence.
Then Taylor's voice returned unsteady, uncertain. We can't tell where we are.
Everything looks strange. Even the ocean doesn't look right. The ocean didn't look right. What does that even mean? The tower urged them to turn west, the direction of home. But Taylor said both of his compasses had failed. Moments later, the other pilots reported the same thing. 5 planes, 10 compasses, all malfunctioning at once. As the afternoon light began to fade, their transmissions grew more disturbed.
We're heading north, or maybe east.
We're not sure. The sea is not the sea. It's white. We're flying over water, but it doesn't look like water. Pilots don't speak like this. Not trained ones.
Not in calm weather.
The tower ordered them again. Turn west. But Taylor believed he was somewhere near the Florida Keys, even though radar showed nothing there. Nothing at all. One of the trainees spoke up in frustration. If we just turn west, we'll get home. But Taylor overruled him, and the ocean swallowed their voices. Static. Then silence. The Navy launched the largest search operation in its history. Planes swept over the Atlantic. Ships formed grid patterns across the sea. Hours turned into days. Thousands of square miles searched. Nothing.
No wreckage.
No oil slick. No parachutes. No bodies. It was as if 5 aircraft had been erased from existence. But the night held one final cruelty. A giant rescue plane, a PBM Mariner, with 13 crew members, took off to search for Flight 19.
20 minutes later, it vanished too. A flash seen on the horizon.
Then darkness. In a single evening, 18 men and 6 aircraft were gone.
People began whispering theories almost immediately.
Witnesses claimed strange lights had been seen in the sky. Soft, blue glows moving in circular patterns. A mist rolling over the water like breath from something ancient, sleeping beneath the waves. Some blamed magnetic anomalies, regions where Earth's magnetism twists into impossible shapes, sending compasses spinning wildly.
But no magnetic disturbance can wipe out every compass and radio at the same time.
Others blamed rogue waves, towering walls of water that rise without warning.
But not even rogue waves can account for 5 planes disappearing together. Then came the darker theories, top-secret military tests,
classified equipment,
experimental technology capable of disrupting navigation. Did Flight 19 fly into something they weren't supposed to see? A weapons test?
A radar experiment? Or something the Navy later buried behind redacted reports and altered conclusions?
Because the official explanation shifted 3 times.
Pilot error,
equipment failure, and finally,
cause unknown. The truth seemed to slip through every attempt to grasp it. So the world's attention drifted to the place at the center of the mystery. The strange stretch of ocean connecting Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico.
A region whispered about long before Flight 19 vanished.
The Bermuda Triangle.
A place where pilots report seeing clouds that move like living things, walls of mist forming around aircraft, twisting visibility, distorting sunlight. A place where compasses drift aimlessly.
Where radio signals dissolve into static. Where time feels wrong. Survivors have described something called electronic fog, a dense, glowing mist that clings to planes and ships, bending their instruments and swallowing them into disorientation. They describe flying through tunnels of cloud that open and close like moving corridors.
Could Flight 19 have entered such a vortex?
A pocket of distorted time.
A doorway carved by weather, magnetism, or something else entirely? Something we haven't named yet.
Whatever they encountered, It drove experienced pilots into confusion, panic, and finally resignation. The last messages from the flight were soft, tired, almost defeated. We're not sure of anything. The sky looks different. The water looks different. We may have to ditch soon. And then one final whisper. It looks like we're entering white water. We're completely lost. White water, on a clear night, in calm seas. Something happened out there, something not bound by ordinary explanations. To this day, no wreckage from Flight 19 has ever been found. No debris, no human remains. The ocean floor has been mapped with modern technology, and still, the sea keeps its silence. 5 planes, 18 men, gone without a trace. Some believe they crashed and were swallowed by the deep. Others believe they flew into a storm that wasn't a storm, a rift in time, a magnetic void, or a phenomenon still beyond science. And then there are those who whisper the strangest belief of all that Flight 19 is still flying, lost in a sky that doesn't belong to this world. Whatever the truth is, the disappearance of Flight 19 is more than a tragedy.
It is a reminder that the world is bigger, darker, and stranger than we dare imagine.
I'm your host.
And this is HushAtlas, where history whispers, and the unknown answers back.